I'm deeply honored to present the Distinguished Leadership Award to my friend and longtime colleague, a gifted economist and tireless civil servant, the Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Draghi. I really got to know Mario over dozens of dinners at the Bank for International Settlements during the time that he served as the governor of the Bank of Italy and then as president of the European Central Bank. And this was no easy time in the world of central banking. The global economy was shaken by a financial crisis and the ensuing Great Recession. Mario was chosen as the first chair of the Financial Stability Board, a consortium created to build a stronger global financial system, one that would be less crisis-prone. Mario also charted a course to save the European economy and the euro itself, relying on his unique ability to bring people together, to forge consensus. He's known for a famous line in central banking history, declaring amid the European debt crisis that the ECB would do whatever it takes to preserve the euro. And it's often said that those 4 words cemented the future of the Eurozone. But it was the following statement, and believe me, it will be enough, that signaled Mario's confidence and credibility. Financial markets, Europeans, and the world knew that he and the ECB could be trusted to deliver. The United States was fortunate to have Mario as a partner then, and we're grateful to have him as a partner once again. Mario jumped back into public service, becoming Prime Minister of Italy in early 2021 amid an unrelenting global pandemic and deep economic strains. In his first year, he oversaw Italy's swift vaccination campaign, a series of relief measures to help workers and businesses, and a number of politically challenging reforms to modernize and green Italy's economy. And on top of all of that, he led a successful G20 year, a true testament to his commitment to multilateralism. Now, in the face of Russia's brutal and unjustified war against Ukraine, the United States has only strengthened our cooperation with Italy and with the rest of our European and global partners to stand firmly in support of Ukraine and the values that underpin our global economic order. As we have rolled out an historic package of sanctions, I found great comfort in having a partner who deeply understands firsthand the plumbing of the international financial system, who fully internalizes the impacts and intricacies of the consequential actions we are taking. I have deeply appreciated Mario's counsel and wisdom throughout this latest challenge we are facing together. Mario, thank you for your service to Italy, to Europe, and to all of us. I am honored to have worked so closely with you, and I look forward to our continued partnership. Without further ado, I ask you to join me in congratulating His Excellency, Prime Minister Mario Draghi, as I present to him the Atlantic Council's Distinguished Leadership Award.
good evening to everybody, and thank you for being here. Chairman Rogers, dear John, President Kempe, Secretary Yellen, Janet, Minister Al-Jaber, Ambassador Markarova, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great, great honor to be here with you tonight. I would like to thank the Atlantic Council for the award. I'm extremely grateful for the award, and even more so for tonight, for this splendid evening. We're here all together. This prize, I want to share this prize with my government, my country, my fellow citizens. Italy has come through some extremely difficult times in the latest few years. We faced the pandemic before anyone else in the Western world. We endured an economic shock that was much sharper than elsewhere in Europe. We now experience the return of war on our continent, which threatens our safety, our prosperity, our energy, security. And this is happening for the first time since the Second World War. Yet, as it has done time and again in this magnificent history, Italy has bounced back. And we are ready to do our part, together with our European and transatlantic allies, to overcome this tragic moment, to restore peace where there is evil. I would also like to thank Janet for the extremely generous speech, which I do not deserve. Fortunately, I was in the backstage, so I couldn't blush openly. Her words bring me back to the early 70s, 1970s, during my early years in the US, when I was a graduate student at MIT, and Janet was an assistant professor at Harvard. As a young man from Rome, everything I saw in Cambridge was new. Three things struck me the most and have remained with me ever since. The openness of this welcoming country, the United States of America. The generosity of my mentors, the late Franco Modigliani and Paul Samuelson, Bob Solo, and Stan Fisher, all of whom I would like to thank tonight. The brilliance of my fellow students, Paul Krugman, Larry Summers, and the one I was closest to, Pentti Kuri, alongside many others. And tonight I have one of my closest friend, Francesco Giavazzi, sitting with us tonight. At MIT, I learned to look ahead, to think with rigor, and more than anything else, given my kind of character, to challenge conventional wisdoms, no matter how settled they are. These lessons resonate with me today as we grapple with one of the worst crises since the Second World War. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused what we used to call a paradigm shift in geopolitics. It has strengthened the ties between the European Union and the United States, isolated Moscow, raised deep questions for China. These changes are still ongoing, but one thing is certain. They are bound to stay with us for a long, long time. We must continue to support the bravery of the Ukrainians as they fight for their freedom and for the security of us all. We must continue to inflict costs on Russia, moving swiftly with our latest package of sanctions. But we must also do all we can to reach a ceasefire and a long-lasting peace. It will be up to Ukrainians to decide the terms of this peace, and no one else. Meanwhile, we have to prepare ourselves for the world we'll live in tomorrow. We must be ready to continue to stand with Ukraine long after the war ends. The destruction of its cities, its industrial plants, its fields will require enormous financial support. Ukraine will need its own Marshall Plan, much like the one that contributed to the special relationship between Europe and the United States. And we'll need to ensure its democratic institutions remain strong, stable, and lively. Ukraine is our friend. Ukraine will remain our friend. The difficult times started well before the war. But each of these crises carries major consequences for Europe. It carries risks, but also opportunities. Let me give you one example. The pandemic has brought the European Union together in ways that were unthinkable even a few months ago. I'm referring to our joint vaccination effort, a model for the world, and to the next generation EU, a first seed of that Hamiltonian moment which 2 centuries ago helped make the modern United States. The war in Ukraine has the potential to bring the European Union even closer together. It's quite clear that there is no way we can cope with the challenges, with many challenges, serious challenges that we have to face in the future years on a national basis. It's quite clear that what is needed now is a joint effort which will put us together much more than it did in the past. There is one thing I want to say: we'll have to streamline our defense spending, avoiding inefficiencies and duplications, speed up the energy transition, relaunch the economic recovery, address long-standing and new inequalities. These radical transformations require change in our institutions and may require changes in our founding treaties. We must remember the urgency of the moment, the magnitude of the challenge. This is Europe's hour, and we must seize it. The choices the European faces are brutally simple. We can be masters of our own destiny or slaves to the decisions of others. What makes me optimistic is that we know we are not alone. At a time of profound change, some things stay the same. The close relationship between the European Union and the United States, that timeless bond that strengthens us both. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Metropolitan Opera Soprano, Maureen McKay.